Sure is a lot of strange things going on around here.
These are Strange Times with Kim, Nehemiah, and Jarrell.
Welcome to Strange Times. This week with Kim and Jarrell. How you doing, Jarrell?
Good. How are you? What's up, people? What's up, Kim? You all right?
Oh, of course. I'm chilling here in my home office today. So
Right.
just hanging out this week. We have a topic to talk about. Along the theme of it being strange times, the coronavirus has obviously caused bars to shut down. Now, there was a story in Cincinnati where the police chief wrote to the mayor and basically said that he wanted the restrictions on bar closings. Bars have to close at, is it 11 p.m.? They have to stop serving alcohol at 10 p.m. and be shut down by 11 p.m. And this
Right.
restriction, according to the chief of police, is causing a spike in murders. And so he was petitioning to have those restrictions removed. So I guess we're going to talk a little bit about the coronavirus shutdown effect on bars and businesses in general. But I have a couple thoughts on what the police chief had to say. But what do you think, Jarrell?
I think it could be, an excuse not to do their job. There's no real statistics showing that the bars closing early is causing a spike in violence. I think there's a lot of other things that's going on that's causing a spike in violence. You have people that are only making anywhere from $100, even $50, I read, a week to 100, 200, maybe 300 a week. So that's got to be playing a factor. The state of the people right now is everybody's trying to, I'm not going to say push their opinion on everybody, but everybody's trying to be heard right now. You have Black Lives Matter trying to be heard. You have All Lives Matter trying to be heard. White Lives Matter trying to be heard. Blue Lives Matter trying to be heard. Trans Lives Matter trying to be heard. Black Trans Lives Matter trying to be heard. LGBTQ community trying to be heard. You have all these people that's trying to be heard and trying to get their voice out there, trying to get their message out there, and a lot of people are just fed up. It's kind of reminds me, and I wasn't alive then, but kind of reminds me of what African Americans had to go through during the civil rights era. I'm not going to say it's that hard. I don't think it's that as far as the tactics that were used and things like that. I don't think it's that harsh as it was back then. But
I don't know. I saw a recent video of cops that set a dog on an African American man just the other day, yesterday or the day before, and this was a recent video, like something that's happened since the protests. Which is brutal, and they just let this dog go at him. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it. You have to send me the link.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find the link. I think I saw it on one of my talk shows, but yeah, it was pretty bad. It might have been a Facebook link. You know how Facebook is.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'll see if I can find it, and I'll send that to you, because it was, I mean, it's always a terrible thing to see a dog attacking a human person. In this particular video, it's just how long they let this dog go at him for, right into his calf muscle, just tearing at it. So I can't imagine so much pain. So in terms of the brutality of the police, I don't know. I think it's shifted. I think maybe they show a little more restraint. They maybe wait for a trigger moment rather than just going all out right from the start. But I don't know. I think the brutality is still, I think it's still there on the police side.
Yeah, it's gonna be there. You're not gonna have people. Sometimes people do things, you know, it might not even be that person as to why they're going to the extremes they are. As far as a cop, you know, going overboard, he may be mad at something else, and you just may have pissed him off, and now he's just taking his anger out on you, you know.
Right.
So, but, yeah, I think it's just an excuse. Law enforcement, y'all gotta tighten up. Y'all gotta tighten up. Plain and simple.
Yeah,
you know,
that's not okay.
Yeah, but they also need the backing of their government officials, because I know the Fraternal Order of Police here, they feel like they don't have the backing of their government officials. They feel like the government officials here have turned their back on them. So they need that as well. They need that support. I seen a story today about a judge that's letting people out on ORs, on recognizance bonds, people that with gun charges and drug charges. He's letting them out. They don't have to pay anything. If you're not familiar if you're not familiar with what a OR bond is they let you out on your own recognizance. I never said that word.
Recognizance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're giving them your word that you'll come back to court. So you don't have to pay anything. They just let you out.
Okay. I mean, I could see that being a good thing. I think there have been a lot of people that went to jail for, you know, like petty drug crimes like marijuana that did not deserve it. I mean, you look at sentencing in this country and it's a joke. I mean, a small amount of marijuana and some paraphernalia will get you longer than a pedophile. It's ridiculous. So I think in a lot of cases, that's probably a good thing, letting people out early, or at least, like you said, the recognizance person, whatever that was. Yeah. As long as they're taking responsibility, you know, criminals are still people. They still are citizens. They deserve every right a citizen has. You know, they serve their time. Once they get out, they should be free. Simple as that. They should have the opportunity to get a decent job and to have a decent life. Why would you not wish that for people? You know? So that's how I feel about it. I hope that's not a reason why the cops feel that politicians don't support them, because the politicians are letting the criminals out and therefore that means they don't support the cops. I don't think that's accurate. You can support the cops and do the right thing at the same time.
Right.
I think that's fair. But I did actually look up some statistics.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find these real quick. All right, can you see that?
I can see it.
So this is Cincinnati Police Department, the statistics. This is the crime statistics, the violent crime statistics for Cincinnati. You can see we've got August 9th to September 5th, and this is of 2020 up here in the corner. Violent crimes, 9. 3-year average of 28 days, 4.67. The change, a 93% increase. That looks pretty bad. Not gonna lie. That's over the past 28 days or so. Now
that's a 93% increase from the month before.
That's a 93% increase from a 3-year average of a 28-day period. So they took the average of this 28-day period over 3 years, and that's how they got that number, that 4.67 right here.
Yeah, that still doesn't explain why there's an increase.
Well, here's the thing, and I looked into it a little further. If you scroll down, can you see this map right here up at the top?
Yes.
This is a map of Cincinnati, and it's going to show you all of these numbers for each county or each district within the city right here. Okay, so we're in the southernmost, right? Yeah. You can see 3 right here. Homicides were 3 between this year, and then 1.67, the increase was 80%. So that's still pretty high in that district. Let's look at another district. Not calculable. In this district, which is off to the east here, homicides, we had 1 this year, but there were 0 last year. So I guess you could argue that that's a 100% increase. It says not calculable because you can't multiply 0 by anything and get a number. So. But obviously crime's pretty low in that district. Scroll even further down. The west here, 1 and 1, 0% change. Okay. 2 and 1, 100%, straight down the middle. This is the center of the city right here. This is what's giving us that high number. Because in a lot of the other places, 0% increase.
Yeah. So it looks like it's just one district.
0. It's those 2 districts. The one that's at the furthest south and that one that goes straight through the center. So, and these numbers are, I don't want to say screwed up, but when you're taking a 3-year average of 28 days to use as a comparison, I mean, that's not even a real number. That's not. There were never 4.67 homicides in any year ever. You can't have 4.67 homicides. So, that's the way that these numbers, what I'm trying to get at is the way that these numbers are being read is not, it doesn't add up to the fact that there's an increase because bars are closed. It doesn't match. The conclusion doesn't match the data. There's no connection there. I agree with you. I think that there are any number of reasons that violence could have gone up. I think violence has been going up anyway, especially in 2020, because people, like you say, are being pushed to their limit. People are poor. People who were already poor, barely surviving on a job that pays $8-9 an hour.
Right.
You work 60 hours a week at $8 or $9 an hour. You can barely afford a 1-bedroom apartment. Right. So people were already struggling, and then COVID happened, and you either continued to work through it and stressed yourself out because of COVID, or you stayed home and stressed yourself out because you were broke.
Right. Me too, huh? So
with everybody pushed to the limit like that, of course you're going to have incidents. Of course crime's going to go up. And when you talk about homicide too, you think about people, the number one, what am I trying to say here? Homicide is usually committed by someone close to a person. It's a personal crime. You don't just randomly go out and shoot a stranger in most cases. Usually it's related to a domestic case.
Right.
So
it's a crime of passion.
Exactly. So these are people's personal stories. This isn't about like bars shutting early. That's not causing this problem. I mean, we can talk about the economics of it, but that's a different conversation, in my opinion. I think that the COVID-19 story is a human story, and I think humans should be the focus of it and not the economy.
Right.
I think that's a big part of the problem is people forget about people. People are so worried about bailing out these massive corporations with our income taxes that, we forget that people matter.
Right.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Uncle Sam wants you to enlist for the all-new Space Force.
Our Commander-in-Chief's highest priority is the safety and security of the American people. Our administration will work with leaders in Congress to create the United States Space Force as the sixth branch of our armed forces.
Monitor the skies and protect your country from new and emerging threats to our freedom. Do you look to the stars and wish for a bigger purpose?
Space is a warfighting domain just like the land, air, and sea, and America will be as dominant there as we are here on Earth.
Well, now you have one. Space is a war-fighting domain. The Space Force is actively looking for healthy individuals to show the world America's dominance in space. Be a Space Force agent. Talk to your recruiter today.
Space Force.
Welcome back to Strange Times this week with Kim and Jarrell. Hey. So, on the topic of COVID-19, did you happen to hear about the tapes from Bob Woodward's interviews with Donald Trump?
I did. I heard parts of it.
You heard parts of it.
Parts of it.
Okay.
One thing let me say this. One thing I commend Trump about, he say what's on his mind. He say how he feel. He show his hand all the way. That may not be the smartest thing, but at least I know what I'm dealing with.
Okay, well, what if he turned out to have completely fabricated something? Like, okay, I'm gonna play these tapes, and this is what CNN captured, the audio that CNN captured from the interviews that Bob Woodward did with Donald Trump. And I don't know, we'll see.
So what was President Xi saying yesterday?
Well, we were talking mostly about the virus, and I think he's going to have it in good shape, but it's a very tricky situation. It goes through air, Bob. That's always tougher than the touch. The touch, you don't have to touch things, right? But the air, you just breathe the air. That's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. People don't realize we lose 25,000, 30,000 people a year here. Who would ever think that, right?
I know.
It's pretty amazing.
Who would think?
And then I say, well,
Who would think?
It's the same thing. This is more deadly. This is 5 this is 5% versus 1% and less than 1%. So this is deadly stuff.
He knew how deadly it was. He knew how many people were going to die, that thousands, hundreds of thousands of people were going to die. And he still told everybody, oh, you don't need a mask. It's a Democratic hoax. What? I'm sorry. That hurts me a little, doesn't it?
That's shocking. But, okay, so they're saying he knew.
This was February 26th.
Are they saying he
February.
knew? Are they saying he knew and he didn't say anything?
They're saying he knew, but at the time, he was completely playing it down. He was saying it was a liberal hoax. He was saying that the Democrats are at it again. It's like Russia, Russia, Russia. And now it's COVID, COVID, COVID. And he was saying, you don't need a mask. And he retweeted something. Oh, let me show you this retweet. Masks aren't about public health, but social control. Image of Biden in black mask endorses culture of silence, slavery, and social death. He says masks endorse a culture of silence, slavery, and social death. Donald Trump retweeted that. Donald Trump endorsed that opinion. This was in May 28th.
Mm-hmm. And COVID had already hit.
COVID was already in full swing.
It was deep in COVID. I had just got it on. I got it on Father's Day, June 21st, Father's Day. Yep. I contracted the coronavirus.
Yeah, and that was here in Ohio. It took a little while for it to really ramp up here. I'm not gonna lie. I think in the beginning, people were like, "It's not here. Like, nothing's happening," and it was just in New York and it was in California.
Right.
That's basically Democratic hubs and either coast. So they were like, "Well, screw them." But then it did hit here, and people are still like, "Well, screw them." People's perspective that it doesn't matter about the deaths, because I think that that's what they're now seeing, is that Donald Trump didn't care about the deaths, so why should they?
I mean, yeah, you're gonna have some people that think like that.
Yeah.
But just because some people think like that, they might not be the majority of people that think like that.
I hope not. I really hope not.
Minority for real.
That's messed up. I mean, and I've heard that from a few people that, oh, well, the CDC just announced that it only killed people with pre-existing conditions. And I'm like, well, if it was a preventable disease and their pre-existing condition wasn't going to kill them, they did not deserve to die. I mean, they don't deserve to die either way, but that's not okay.
Yeah.
That's not okay. That is not acceptable.
Yeah. The one thing I feel like is, until something affects them, they don't really worry about it, you know.
Yeah. Until
their family member gets hit with the coronavirus and actually has to be in ICU.
Right.
Oh, I'm not worried about it. It's a hoax.
It's a hoax, exactly.
It's a hoax. It's for real. You know
it is for real.
And it's hitting some people hard to where they're not bouncing back. Fred the Godson, rapper, hip hop, he passed away from it.
Yeah.
Fred the Godson, he passed away from the coronavirus. So tons of other people have passed away too. So I think it's something to take serious. People just have to be cautious and careful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the fact that it is now, we're in September and we're still in full swing of the first wave says a lot about the fact that not enough people are doing the right thing. Not enough people are wearing masks. Not enough people are washing their hands. People are not social distancing. People are gathering on weekends, just as they would before. They don't care because they're not going to change their plans for some hoax. They're not going to do it because that's oppressive to them. In their opinion, they're being oppressed. Reality is, this is just science. We know how, at least we have an idea of how it works because it's a virus. Right. People say, I heard one person say, you know what makes me think it's a conspiracy? It only kills old people. And I'm like, honey, do you know how viruses work? Because that's how viruses work. Old people are just more vulnerable. They have weakened immune systems. You know, they probably have more pre-existing conditions. They're more likely to die from a respiratory disease that is, you know, deadly to people in their 20s. So, you know, that's not a conspiracy-worthy detail. But people are so hung up on conspiracies, they'll find a conspiracy in everything they disagree with.
Yeah, that's true.
It's bad. It's so bad. I used to love conspiracy theories. That's our show. Thanks for tuning in to Strange Times with Kim and Rel. We'll see you next time.
Whoa, that was weird.
Sure was. Thanks for listening to Strange Times with Kim, Nehemiah, and Jarrell.